Hello and welcome to the Spots of Wisdom podcast. I am Shannon. I run Spot That Dog in Bristol.
And I'm Jade, and I run That Dog based in Wrexham.
So today we are speaking ever so slightly differently, but still semi on the basis of everything. We're going to talk about what it's like to be a small business owner, but also a small business owner within the pet industry, the animal industry, and all of that. And just give you all an insight to our daily lives. So Jade, you've been at this longer than me.
Yes.
Give me some background. What's going on?
Okay, so I started my business, I think it was in 2017, I think, if I remember rightly. And I did the thing that everybody does when they first start their business, and they say yes to everybody. So you almost feel like you have to be grateful for the work. Like you've just started your business and you want everybody to come to you, and you feel you just have to say yes to everybody because you should be grateful that you have a client. So I ended up probably, as most people do when they start a business, with clients that maybe take the mickey a little bit. Because a great example is I have some people right now who are just starting up, so I can kind of give my advice to them because obviously I was there. And they are hiring dog walkers.
Yeah.
Very, very cheap dog walkers. Because they don't want to pay for a dog trainer.
Yeah.
So they're hiring a dog walker and they're going, oh, my dog's got this issue and this issue and this issue and this issue, and I want you to fix it. So I want you to do all this training for the price of a dog walker.
Are these the dog walkers that will advertise dog training for the same price as a dog walk, or is it these people that are expecting their dog walkers just to do it anyway?
These are people who have actually, which is what I've tried to say to them, they've actually said no to these clients. They've gone, I'm not having your dog.
Yeah.
I am not paid enough to train your dog.
Good on them.
So they've actually stood their ground really well. But I think one of the most common mistakes people make is they go, I'll just take all the clients, and whether they fit in with your ethics or whether, all of that kind of stuff, you just feel like you have to say yes because you need the work.
Yeah. I think I did that in a sense. So not in the sense of I took on anyone, because I've always been a firm people don't get to take the piss of me. Like, you might have one chance, but then that's it.
Yeah.
But I took it on, my area was quite wide. So obviously when I first started, I done pet sitting. So I think I started in October, officially October 2022. Until February, October to February, I was just a dog walker and dog sitter. And then February, I started training. But in that time period, so I'd go 20 minutes, 30 minutes out of my way for a walk, which at the minute is fine. So we do now have clients who from my house are half an hour away. But then also I've got two girls so if I'm here, I've got one girl here and I've got one girl here. So for the girl here, there's room for clients this way and there's room for clients that way. So while it's still half an hour for me, it's not for the other people. But then equally, we've got clients dotted around, like along that scale. So it might be, okay, from me to my fourth client is half an hour, but from my third client to my fourth client is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I think I used to have a Wednesday and a Thursday, or a Wednesday every other week, where I'd have two clients that half an hour away, but then the next Wednesday would be only one client that way. So I'd be driving half an hour for one client. So it would take 2 hours out of my day just to see one client.
Yeah, I think people have this misconception when you're a dog walker. I mean, some dog walkers are like this. So in some respects, it's right, where you open your van, you shove 12 dogs in, you go to a field, you get them out for 45 minutes, you drop them all off, and you've made like £200 in an hour.
Yeah.
And realistically, especially when I was dog walking, I was doing one-to-one more than so I was doing reactive dogs. And when you take into the travel, you've got so many less clients than people that you have. And then
So
you've got to dry them, wash them, make sure that they're left with water and all this kind of stuff. And it all adds up.
yeah, and I think it's one of it. So I've always done solo walks, and it's only recently that we'll do like paired walks, but as
Yeah.
long as obviously the client's confirmed. When I first started, obviously I decided to specialize with reactive dogs. Having one, I was like, there needs to be someone for someone like me.
Yeah.
So it would be that I'd be driving all over the like not city, but all over my area in order to do these reactive solo dogs and go from there. And it does take a long time. And originally, like I only ever did hour walks. I didn't do half an hour walks. So I'd have like 5 1 hour walks. So that's 5 hours of my day. But the driving probably takes up 2 hours. So it's a 7 hour day. And at that point, I was charging £12.50 for an hour when I first started. So that's 60 quid if I've done my maths right. Maths is not my strong suit. 60 quid for a 7 hour day, which anyone who's good at anything knows that's under minimum wage. And it is kind of, especially in this industry, that people don't seem to realize that a lot of the stuff we do is actually under minimum wage, especially when it comes to dog sitting. I don't know if you ever did any dog sitting, but like less so with me because I'm quite firm in my prices, but you'll find a lot of people that they'll look on your local community and be like, oh, I can't spend more than £35 a day on my dog for the dog sitter. And you're like, well, that's not even £2 an hour. Like if someone sits with your dog 24/7, that's less than £2 an hour. And even if so, with ours, we have to be able to leave to do our dog walks. The dog never gets left more than 4 hours, but we still have to be left to do it. So say I wake up at 7, I'm with the dog till 9, that's 2 hours. I come back at lunchtime for 2 hours. I come back after work for 2 hours. And then like generally I'm with the dog from like 8 p.m. till the next morning. So let's say I'm with the dog 14 hours a day, like £2 an hour, really. That's not. And even if you charge like £5 an hour, that's still not a lot of money. Like if you charged, again, maths isn't my strong suit, but if you were to charge minimum wage for the whole time you were there, you'd be earning £200 a day, something stupid like that. Like, well, probably not, but 14 times whatever minimum wage is nowadays.
People
Like,
don't want to pay though. They don't
no,
want
exactly.
to. I see complaints all the time from people who are looking for a dog sitter. And, they want a dog sitter for their reactive dog. Fine, I work with reactive dogs, I'm not slating them, but they want a dog sitter for their reactive dog that has a number of health issues that can't be left for more than 2 hours at a time. And then kicking off that people want more than £30 a day to do that.
Yeah.
And instead they're going to websites where you can be uninsured for somebody's dog. And they're just like, oh, we'll just pay a random person with no qualifications to do it instead.
And the problem is, and I've got a training client at the minute with this, where, and obviously we can only go what off we've been told. Essentially, her dog bit someone because it was on Rover or a trusted house sitter, but it was a shared household, which I'm pretty sure is not legal for boarding.
No, I don't think it
I've
is.
never heard of that for boarding. And it's like, for people who don't know these things, your dog's unfortunately put in a situation where they've felt the need to do that. Like they may have never ever done that before, but you've put them in the hands of someone. My clients knows this, I've told them this. They've been put in the hands of someone who doesn't have a clue themselves.
Yep.
And are just doing it for cheap money. Like you find, and it's not to say that it can't be done, but you do find that there's a lot of people who have 2 jobs. One is they work from home, they're a remote worker, they do all their computer work while dog sitting someone else's dog, which is fine if you've got Henry, the fat black lab that just sleeps all day and then you put her around for an hour.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if you've got a dog, my 2 less so much, because obviously Woody's only reactive on a walk, otherwise he's good as gold. Yeah. But I wouldn't leave him with someone like that who doesn't know how to walk a reactive dog. Like, it's
No.
just putting so much responsibility on someone who doesn't necessarily have a clue. And I don't think sites like that should exist, because you just risk so much. It's not even just the safety of your dog, but you don't know what's going on with all of that. Like, you could invite, I've had a few clients, I've got one who's a really long standing client now, and I can't necessarily confirm she did go on Rover, but it gives me the feeling that she did, and that someone stole her shoes.
Oh, okay.
And she
Yeah.
had proof they stole her shoes. And it's just like, that's the kind of people you invite into your home. Whereas for me, like, and I've got it now, I've got someone asking to see my DBS and my insurance. Great, that's fine, I've got that.
Mhm.
It's there to prove that I've got it. DBS, insurance, first aid, all the qualifications we've got, it's there for me to show you. Like, again, I wouldn't be, there's a different line and there's a story for another day, but for training and just basic dog knowledge, I've got insurance, I've got qualifications. Like, whereas all these people, they literally, you're like, well, they own a house,
Yeah.
that's about it.
So I saw one advertised the other day. Now this wasn't on Rover, it was a dog walker, sorry, offering to walk your dog mostly in groups. They do solos as well, but they mostly do groups of like 12. There's two of them, so they do two groups of 6 and combine. Offering to walk your dog without having done a meet and greet first. So these people are just turning up at your house, never met the dog before, never met you in person before, taking it out into a group of other dogs, knowing nothing about the dog whatsoever, and they're fully booked.
It tells you something about the owner rather than anything else, and that, like,
Well, that's the discussion we had. I was like, my dogs have no behavioral issues, right? None of them are reactive. They don't resource guard. They don't do any of that kind of stuff. I'm still going to quiz you if you're going to take my dogs out.
yeah,
I want to know who you are. I want to know what your background is. I want to make sure you've got first aid. I want to know how you're picking them up, how they're going in the van, all this kind of stuff. If I had a dog that was reactive, I'd be doing that 100 times over.
I don't, and it's not against any of the local people around by me. There's only one person that I've actively let take my dogs out.
Yeah.
And she's a really good trainer, but on the week I needed her to do my dogs, I paid for the secure field every day. And I was like, I want you literally to take my dogs from my front door to the car, drive them to the field, hour in the field and back again. Like, I don't, my family were at home to be able to actually dog sit, but walks wise, I was like, they're two big dogs. Well, yes, you can hold them, you can control them, you're fully capable of doing it all. I also don't want to put that responsibility on you.
100%.
So it was one of those things. And like, I just think I still forget how long I've been working. So for 3 years, in the 3 years, I get confused on when I started. Let's say 3 years. In the 3 years I've had my business, I always do meet and greets. I don't think I think I've probably had one client that we haven't continued with.
Yeah.
And that was going off of vibes, and that we probably thought they were going to mess us around.
Yeah.
We've never not taken on a client, and that's generally because of the meet and greet. Like, sometimes we don't even get them to that level, depending on, again, and it is kind of prejudice, but off the vibes you get off of someone with
100%.
how you speak through, like, obviously a lot of it's through Messenger, a lot of it's through my website and stuff like that, and you can only go off of what you speak about at first, but there is going to be certain things that you do and you don't want. Like, we've had, I don't want to say a lot of crap clients, but we've had some clients who definitely have taken the piss, but generally that's after we've done stuff with their dogs for a very long time, and either they're just picky, or they're just a certain way inclined, or they just generally aren't the same kind of people as us, and you don't gel for so long. It is like, it's one of those, it is what it is. Like, but I generally try and avoid those kind of people from the very beginning if I can.
You can get a vibe off, and again, whether that's judging people, whether that's right or wrong, you can usually get a vibe off somebody via a message. either the way they speak to you or the way they word things to you. Like there are certain phrases people might use in a message, and I'm like,
Yeah.
don't think I want to work with you.
Yeah.
And I think when you've run your business for long enough, you start turning those people down. You don't
Yeah.
feel that kind of need to go, oh, I guess I'll make it work, because now I'm in a position where I can go, actually, I don't want you as a client.
Yeah.
So you can go and find somebody else. And I think if you start that off from day one, you're probably going to have an easier job than saying yes.
Yeah. And you are always going to be faced with them. Like I said, I'm quite picky and I don't tend to let people take the piss of me. We have had it with a few clients where they've just flipped one day and things have changed, or they haven't liked something or whatever, which is fine. You can please everyone. But generally, that's it. I just cut ties there and then, done and dusted, go away. Don't need to deal with you anymore. But then equally, it would have been, and it says something about you as a business owner. Well, yes, you're allowed to talk about your experiences with those people. I'm not the kind of person who don't then go around slagging them off to everyone. Like, I know with at least one of my ex-clients, I know who their new sitters and walkers are. I haven't told them anything because it's not my business to do anything unless there's one I have. The dog that I've mentioned previously, who was the really aggressive dog, that the one that used to resell scarred his own sick. I've only ever spoken to one of his sitters, and that was after he bit her as well. That's the only one I've done.
I think if I mentioned a dog to a friend once, because of how it behaved around me.
Yeah.
And I saw that this person was working with it, and I thought, you know what? I'd feel really guilty if anything happened to that person. So I'm going to say something.
And it's different, isn't it? Like, if the dog's dangerous and you do think it's going to cause problems, then yeah. So I think with that same client, I think once I'd found out it had bitten someone else, I didn't name names, but we've got a local group, like dog walkers group, and I think that I just popped a message and was like, look, this has happened.
Yeah.
I know what the owners are like. They're going to keep looking for a sitter. Like, I'm not going to name names, but I'm just going to give everyone a heads up. If you get an inquiry that sounds like this, just message me, say, is it this person? And I'll either say yes or no.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go out of my way to make things difficult for this owner, but I'm also going to support the local walkers and sitters around here. And if someone thinks they've come across that dog, then I'll let them know.
Yeah. I think there's a difference, isn't there, between the dog being dangerous and you having to warn people to you just not gelling with somebody.
Yeah.
So there's been a few clients, I mean, like you've said, you can't please everybody. And there's going to be people that you don't get on with, and there's going to be people that don't get on with you, and that's fine. Like, I've had people, not many, but I've had people that have gone, you're not into the same training methods as I am. I want someone that's going to be a bit more harsh or a bit more strict. And I've gone, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you. Like, it's fine.
But at least, like, there's that discussion as well, though. I had it before. Someone said to me, and I think I've said it before, someone messaged and said, oh, we're really interested in training. Like, what methods do you use? We're really open to anything. And then when I go and say, oh, I'm a rewards-based trainer, that was it. I had nothing back from them. And I'm like, how? And I've had it with different discussions with other clients as well. I don't get how you can go from I'll do anything to when I'm probably like I'm the nicer end of the scale.
Yes.
You decide that that's not good enough. Like, I also think I don't want to necessarily say it's a generational thing, but because how old are you? You're the same age as me, aren't you? Or a little bit older. We're the generation of like MSN and all that, where we used to say like, I've got to go now, and used to end the conversation. So for me, I'll always, whether I come up with an excuse or not, if I can't use someone's service, or tell them I can't use it, I don't just blank them and never talk to them again. It's okay. Right now, it's not right for me. Whereas some people just don't, and I don't get it.
I've had it before, and I will never delete messages.
No.
So my work email and WhatsApp and everything are always full. So then what tends to happen is I might get a client that messages me and go, I've got a 6-month-old, whatever, and it's doing this. I need some help. And you go, okay, that's fine. Here are my prices. Here's when I'm free. If you want to book, let me know. There's never any pressure. I'm not salesy. I'm like, here's the information. If you want to book, let me know. And I leave it there.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, there are loads of people that just obviously read it and go, oh, I'm not paying that, or they go,
Yeah.
oh, instead. And then 3 months later, you get another message. Hi, I'm looking for a trainer. I need help with my 9-month-old whose behavior is getting worse.
Yeah.
And they speak to me like they've never spoken to me before.
Yeah.
I can read all the previous messages.
Yeah.
Like if you'd have messaged me or booked in when you first had,
Yeah.
like you'd been fine. But then I've had, again, it's one of the downsides of running your business, isn't it? So I stupidly, and I've learned from this, used to let people pay on the day using cash if they wanted to.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, can I book you for this date? I'll pay you cash. I'll bring it on the day. Yeah, sure. And I remember one time I'd booked the secure field because she had a reactive dog. So I booked the secure field and I'd got my dog in the back just so I could get him out if need be. Booked the secure field, turned up, and I messaged her, like, are you on the way? Are you coming? Like, where are you? And I got a reply an hour after the session. Sorry, I've been caught up with work. And I was like, well, I paid for the field.
Yeah.
It was at the field. And she didn't reply. So I wasn't even that I hadn't made money in that session. I'd lost money in that
Yeah.
session. And then I think she messaged me again about I think it was about 2 months later, sorry. She's like, hi, can we have that session now?
No.
And I think I really rudely, I don't think I answered.
And
No.
there's an extent sometimes, isn't there? So that I fully admit there's a client that is currently still on unread on my phone. Because I'm still figuring out how to say no to them
Yeah.
in the nicest way. So it's not that
Yeah.
I'm not replying, I've just got to figure out how to say no.
Yeah.
In a professional manner. But there's the line, I've had the same, so I've had to reiterate, and I'll probably put a post and email out that
Yeah.
if you cancelling sessions or no shows, cancelling them anything before 24 hours is got to be either you lose your session or you lose your money. Like you can't rebook it, you can't keep organizing it. Like at the end of the day, like you said, if you end up paying out for it, then to me she either needs to refund you for the £10 booking or whatever it is.
Offer, would you? The polite, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize you'd already booked. Let me, or at least offer, can I give you the £10 back? But it was just nothing. She read it and ignored me.
I think, again, I do think it's generational in the sense of people aren't as courteous as others anymore. I've had pardon me, a situation where a dog has ruined my coat. The owners did literally say, I'm really sorry, can we reimburse you? And I was like, do you know what, don't worry. Like it's a work coat anyway. And what they didn't know is I had just bought another work coat, so that I had a replacement for it anyway. It was an understandable situation, and for me it was more like, I just want you to know that the dog's done this. I don't care about the coat's a material thing. We just need to pin down this dog's behavior and make sure it's a one-off. But you still have that courtesy, don't you? Like I've done it where I've accidentally damaged, I'm painting myself out to be really great here. I texted you the other day, I've accidentally damaged someone's property.
Yes.
Literally straight away went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Can I pay for it? Can I fix it? Like I'll go to B&Q, I'll do what I need to do to fix it. Like you don't just drive off and carry on about it. Like accidents happen, things happen. Like if the night before you're like, oh shit, something's happened, I can't come, just message.
Yeah, and it'll be fine. Like,
and 90% of the time we're like, yeah, it's fine. It's those clients that you get where every single time that they do it and you're like,
I have a client like that, and they will remain nameless and their dog will remain nameless, but it's like things that people don't realize. So I set up a class. I won't tell you what class because it'll give it away, but I had set up a class and I had a waiting list for this class. And there were 3 people in the class that hadn't paid me. And I kept chasing them. I was like, do you still want the space?
Yeah.
Let me know. Can you transfer money? Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow came about. Do you still want the place? Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, that's fine. But if you don't want the space, tell me, because I have a
Yeah.
waiting list, but tell me. No,
Yeah.
I still want the space. The morning the class started, I had those 3 people all messaged me and went, oh, I'm really sorry. I don't need the space anymore. That was £150 gone. And to them, they've just messaged and gone, I'm really sorry, I don't need the space. To me,
Yeah.
that's £150.
Yeah.
That's like my ban for the month or
Yeah.
whatever.
And it depends, doesn't it? Like everyone's different. So with my venues, a lot of them I pay on the day, or I pay like, I'll tell them how many hours I've used it for today. They total it up, and at the end of the month I pay it. So I'm quite lucky in that sense. But I've set it with my clients. I have to know by 1 o'clock every day for training if you're coming or not. If I don't have a minimum, so it's more for rolling classes.
Yeah.
But if I don't have a minimum of 2 people booked on, we're not running the class.
Mhm.
Because generally it doesn't cover the fee for the class. And I'm not too, if I break even, that's fine, because not for business sense, it's not. But for me, if I've got clients who keep coming back and are happy to keep coming back, if I break even every so often,
Yeah.
that's better than not having people keep coming back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And I think, again, it's one of those, isn't it? You either just tell us if you're not. And I'm quite good. My clients are really good. We've got like a WhatsApp group. So every single time, like tomorrow, I'm like, right, who's coming for 6 o'clock tonight? Tell me, blah, blah, blah. Everyone gets updated every single day. They update me, etc., etc. It's fine. But it does tend to be the ad hoc clients that might not intentionally mess around, but causes an
Like
issue.
it might be a genuine reason, and that's fine. But it's when it's the same people over
Yeah.
and over and to the point, right? This is really bad. To the point where I have one client who will tell me they want to sign up to a class, and I won't write them on the list.
Yeah.
Because I know when it comes, they'll go, oh, I'm sorry, I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
They don't even go on the list anymore. I sell their place because then
And I think people just don't understand the admin side of things, do it. And like, obviously, we can kind of push the conversation on from here, but
yeah.
Although, okay, we're dog trainers, so majority of what we do is dog training. Obviously, I do dog walking, I do sitting,
Yeah.
plus all of my animals at the same time. The admin of, like I said, we've got to tell the venues, right, I'm using it for 2 hours tonight.
Yeah.
We've got to pay the invoices to those venues. We've got to, like, every single time. So with my courses, so puppy class, like anything that's multiple weeks, I send out a training form so that I get all the puppies' information. I send out certificates for once they've completed it. Like every single class or one-to-one or something has a lot of admin that goes behind it.
Yeah. It's not just that hour session. So I get it. Like people are sat there and they're waiting for me to reply, and I get it 100%.
Yeah.
But our job involves teaching people. And I could not sit here and email you all back whilst I'm teaching a class. Yeah. Like I can't do it. So like there will be days where I will have like a couple of one-to-ones, and all of those one-to-ones need report writing for them. Okay, that report, depending on what it's for, might take me half an hour, it might take me an hour. That's per client. I then have to plan my classes. I have to print the certificates for classes. I have to make sure that the venue knows where I am. I've got to make sure everyone's got the information they need. I go and teach the classes. So I teach, at the minute, I think it's 13 classes a week. Each of these need planning. Each of them need homework being sent. Not to mention the fact that there's 13 groups of people there that will usually want me for something else.
Yeah.
My puppy's biting. I can't figure out how to fix this lead walking. Can you do this? Can you do that? That's fine. I will help you. That's fine. So then by the time you've done your classes, there are days I get home at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. By the time I've finished, finished teaching the class, I've packed up, I've disinfected, I've mopped, I've got home, I've had my tea because I need to eat. And
Hmm.
it's 10 o'clock at night and people are like,
Yeah.
why haven't you messaged me yet?
So tomorrow I start
Basically,
work, as long as I have a car, tomorrow I start work at 9 o'clock. And give it now, one of my sessions has moved. So I'm either going to start later. I'm probably going to start later, but still. Um, say we start at 9 till I think 4 tomorrow is my normal working day. So all of my dog walks, my dog train, like one-to-one sessions, etc. I've got my friend's horses to do. I've got my horse. I've got somewhere in that day. I've got to walk my dogs.
yeah,
I have a training class at 6 o'clock, which again is a venue. While on a non-busy day, it would take me 15 minutes to get to. Because I want to get there for 6, I've got to leave at least half an hour early because of the location. So tomorrow I've got 2 classes. I then have to lock up, which in itself is fine, but it's almost a slightly awkward venue to lock up because there's loads of gates, and then
yeah,
the actual road that is on is quite a fast, dodgy road. And obviously, generally, I have my van, so it's a flipping big van that I've got to park in the middle of the road while I try and lock these gates. And then again, a quarter of an hour journey home. So I don't get tomorrow. I'll likely get home 8 o'clock.
yeah.
Which then after that, I've got to have tea. I've got to
Mhm.
have a shower. I've got to do any admin that I've got left. So tomorrow, I was meant to have 2 one-to-ones. I've now got 1. So at the end of tomorrow, I've got to send her a report back and a plan
Yeah.
for what we've done and what she's got to go like doing forward. I'm quite consistent with my WhatsApp. I will, and again, I'm in that generation, same as you. I'm always on my phone, but because
Yeah.
I'm always replying to messages when I get a chance to do it.
Yeah.
So it is a long day, and like there was one stage like you were saying, like when you start out, you do everything. When I first started, I had a 6 week period where I
Yeah.
did not have a day off. And I'm
Yeah.
talking Monday to Sunday, I had a job every single day for six
Done it.
weeks.
It's not good.
And no, it's not good. And I'm at that stage at the minute where I'm semi in the same sort of thing. Um, Obviously, like today's a Sunday, I'm dog sitting. I do finish today, so it's fine. But although it's a Sunday, your trail, I still have to take a client's dog out for a walk. I
Yeah.
still have to make sure he's okay. I've got to do check-ins. I've got to do this, that, and the other. I'm also doing my friend's horses at the minute because she's had an operation. So still doing a minimum of 2 jobs a day, which is a Sunday. I'm still
Yeah.
doing that. I've then, like I said, we've got staff changes coming up soon. So in the next few weeks, I've got to find time to do some admin before I have a staff member go off for a long time. Make sure that all the diary is sorted. My invoices go out next week for the month. So that task takes me an hour or two because I don't have an automated system that does it because we have a lot of ad hoc clients, a lot of changes. So I have to go through my diary and be like, right, so Max has
Yeah.
5 walks a month. Right, send Max's invoice out. Right, this dog has 18 walks a month. Send that one out. I have to work out which every single dog has what, send that invoice out, and then like, so we go off of the time period. So it's either an hour or it's half an hour, whether it's a walk or a check.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
The dog sitting part is the hard bit because if it's anything over 4 hours, it counts as a full day.
Yeah.
If it's anything less than 4 hours, I do it hourly.
Okay.
Or if it's just an overnight, so if they text me now and say, oh, my flight's delayed, can you stay tonight until tomorrow morning? That's
Yeah.
just an overnight fee because the likelihood is I'm going to be asleep for most of the night. So there's a load that goes into it. There's loads that go into it. And
We have to be so good at everything.
yeah,
And I don't think people realize that. So like we have to
we're a social media marketing
we
like
have to do
managers.
social media because if we don't do social media,
We won't get any jobs.
we get forgotten and then nobody will know that we're here.
Because I don't know about you, getting dog sitting and dog walker reviews, easy. I can get that, like the easy. Dog training reviews, it's the hardest thing on the planet.
I've got 600, because I've looked just before I came on, 650 clients in my client group, right?
Yeah.
650. I have 70 Facebook.
Yeah.
70.
So I think I've got something on Facebook. I think I've got like 1,079 followers.
Yeah.
Obviously, that can be around the world. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of that is I got 600 Facebook friends.
Yeah.
Half of those are probably on there, plus of all my clientele. I've got 62 Facebook reviews.
Yeah.
Majority of those are dog walking or dog sitting. There's a fair few which are a little amount of training, but literally, I have, and if you're all listening, leave a review.
Yeah.
I've got a training group on WhatsApp of like 15, 20 people.
Yeah.
I guarantee you 5 of those have left a review. And that's no hate to them, because they're great clients. That 2 minutes it takes to leave a review makes a hell of a difference.
Such a difference.
It makes a hell of a difference, especially when like you've got an established trainer business. And while yes, I do, I've only been training for 2 years.
Yeah.
So to keep pushing that business and to keep growing it, I need those reviews.
100%. And it, like you said, it takes 30 seconds to write a review, and it makes such the difference. And then
Yeah.
you've got your social media, you've got your accounts that you need to do, you've got your admin that you need to do, you've
Your
got
life.
you've got your life that you need to have. You've also got, we've both got dogs.
Yeah.
Then the joy of being in our industry is our dogs have to look good to make sure everybody else wants to train with us. Because if my
Mine don't.
dog, mine was terrible on Friday, so that doesn't count. But
I just need to add that Bucky went to Crofts to the website. That's one thing I need to do, because people look at that and I'm like, oh my God.
100%. So yeah, you've got to train your own dogs. You've got to walk your own dogs.
Oh my God.
As well as like, cleaning your house and making sure you've done the washing and like all that kind of stuff. I can get anywhere up to 60 to 70 WhatsApps over a weekend.
Yeah.
And okay, some of them might take 10 seconds and a yes, no answer. If somebody's messaged me, because I had three last weekend, if you can't help my dog, they're gone. And you're like, that's so draining. So if you
have to reply, don't you? Because you're like, you don't want that on your conscience that someone's done it, but at least if you've made an effort to try and do it. And I've had actually a really good client of mine considered it one day, and I was like, don't do it. Like, I literally replied, don't do it. Consult like, I do dog training, I do behavioral work, but I was like, this is more complex than what I'm qualified for. So go to the vet, get a referral to a clinical behaviorist, and sort. And they've done so well with him since that. And I work with them now. I work with like what they get from the vets and all that, and we do loads better. But it's just like, you have to be able to reply in that situation. And I remember,
I think as well, I'm not putting, if anyone ever hits that point, like, feel free to message. I'm not saying don't, but you've got to remember as well, if I've just done 4 back-to-back classes, and anyone that's taught in any capacity will know that 4 back-to-back classes is as draining as anything. I love my job, I love my clients, I'm not complaining, but it's draining. And then when you get home and you're like, I'll just have a quick check of my WhatsApp whilst I'm waiting for my kid. And if you've got a message from somebody that's going, I'm really struggling, or I've had a cry today, or this dog needs to find a new home because I'm done, you then put everything else on pause. So you're then like, right, okay, tea can wait. Let me answer these like messages. And yeah, it takes up so much of your time. And I'm not saying don't do it, but I think if I've got to answer a message and I've got one that wants to know something about, I don't know, how to teach a sit, and I've got somebody that's like, my dog needs a new home. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to prioritize who gets my time. And then you get people that are then going, oh, it's been 48 hours and you haven't messaged me. I'm really sorry.
And it's one of those, and it all depends on what you do in your business as well. Like I said, so for me, I do sitting, walking, training, and God knows what else. I sell treats, so I've always got to try and push my treats. Social media, we've got podcast. I'm not being funny, Jay. Do you know how hard it is for me and you to book in a podcast at the minute?
Find time when we're both free is absolutely hilarious.
So, guys, in the nicest way, count yourself lucky when you listen to these podcasts, because
it takes a lot of doing.
Much time. So after this, obviously, it's a Sunday night. It's currently 7:30. I will be spending either tomorrow or probably Tuesday, when we're then going to record another episode, editing this. And it's not even that editing takes long, because as long as we've had a good podcast, I clip a little bit off the front and end, and that's about it. But downloading it to the computer takes time, then uploading to YouTube, uploading to Spotify, it all takes time. And
list of coming up of what we want to talk about,
yeah,
and constantly like adding to that, and yeah, trying to come up with a time where we're both free, and then one of us will go, oh, this has happened, or oh, this has happened, sorry.
I mean, both of us today, isn't it? Like, I would text you, you're like, oh, are you still okay for later? And I'm like, well, I'm currently sat down in a broken down van on the main road, so I don't know just yet.
It's really
and then
funny.
I text you, oh yeah, you ready at 6 o'clock? And you're like, I'm still far behind because I got an hour late of chatting. I was like, for God's sake.
It's so funny. Like, it was both the same, both as bad as each other. It was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, that takes time as well. Oh,
Yeah, it does.
Then I've lost my trail of thought. I had something.
That's fine. I mean, it was one of those, and that, like, it's just kind of a podcast for people to understand actually how hard the job really is. Like, you get the people that, oh, I'd love your job, you just walk dogs all day.
Oh, that's the worst. It's like in the summer when they're like, oh, I'd love your job, you're just out walking dogs in the sun all day. And then in the middle of winter when it's snowing, nobody says that anymore.
No. And then you also get the people, like you just said, like, that we need to train our dogs too. I've had 2 comments in 1 week where someone was like, well, don't they need some training? And I'm like, I'm trying to find time to train my own dogs. I'm too busy doing stuff for you lot, actually. And it's not even that. It's not that your dogs aren't well trained, but there's things that you prioritize in there. So, like,
100%.
on one of these moments, I had both dogs in the pub, and give it, I was being brave taking both my dogs to the pub. Probably shouldn't have done it. I managed it, but it was walking out of the pub when I then realised that there was a bloke at the end of the bar with his cockapoo.
Yeah.
I got reactive Woody on the right hand side. Then I've got Bucky, who loves every single dog out there, on the left hand side. So you tell me, with 60 odd kilos of dog,
it's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard work.
And I got a comment. The bloke knows me.
Yeah.
I don't know if he recognised me or not, but he went, looks like you could use some training. I'm not holding my dogs like, do I? Mm-hmm. I'm like, do I say anything, or do I just keep on going? And I just held them. I walked out the door, and I was just like, not even doing it. He's probably said it because he knows who I am.
You were better than me, because I lost my temper with the one that said something to me on Friday.
I mean, if I had said anything, then there is the chance of a mass dog brawl in the middle of the pub. So probably wouldn't have been the best idea.
I braved taking both of mine to the beach. And they're both, Sherlock's amazing. He's my star. He can do everything. And the only bit I was slightly concerned about was the walk from the car park to the beach.
Yeah.
But once they're on the beach and they're off the lead, their recalls are really good. Like, they'll be fine. Kevin's a bit iffy on the lead. So I thought the only bit that that needs my attention really is that little short walk. And typically, just as I was coming around the corner on that little short walk, someone was stood there with their 2 dogs. And Kevin starts kind of losing the plot a little bit. He's like, oh my God, there's a dog. And it's cute. He's a puppy, but he's a 38-kilogram puppy. And I'm holding on to him. And Sherlock's just stood there like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And this woman stands blocking the path with her 2 dogs, watching me.
It's always when you're caught off guard as well, isn't it? Like, they will literally breed the most perfect dog when no one's looking. And then when you've got an audience, it's a different question.
And she looked at me, and her husband looked at me, and he went, they're strong, aren't they? And I said, he's really testing my patience at the minute. I said, so I'm just going to walk past you. And he was like, oh, why? How old is he? And I was like, I'm really not in the mood to talk to you.
Shut up.
Sorry,
I'm trying to walk to the beach.
The rest of the walk, it was brilliant. It was fine. But unhelpful comments are the worst. But that's what I was going to say. I've remembered. You've got all this stuff to do, work-wise, admin-wise, social media-wise, etc. And then just throw into the mix if something goes wrong, right? So
no van.
So you've not got a van. I've got a relative that's not very well. And if if that takes up 1 day, half a day, 2 days of your normal work day, you are so far behind. It
And the
is
thing is, like
unbelievable.
I said, so I currently do not have a vehicle for work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know how many dogs I've got without looking. I've tried to insure my car. So this obviously it's Sunday night at the minute. This will probably go out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Tried to sort the insurance out on my car. We were going to send the car back and get
Yeah.
a new one. That's not happened yet. So I've had to try and reinsure my car ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get a notification. Your payment's been processed, but your insurance hasn't been sorted. Please ring tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So I've got to ring them at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning before my day starts to try and make sure my car gets insured, or I don't have a way to get to work tomorrow.
Then you're left with that decision then. Do you mention it to clients?
Yeah.
Not mention it to clients and just hope for the best in the morning?
Well, worst case tomorrow is I'm going to have to be getting taxi around everywhere. I don't have a bike,
Yeah.
so I can't even do that. And it's one of it, again, like you said, if things go wrong, it goes colossally wrong. So if this doesn't sort out tomorrow morning, I've then got to figure out a way to get to my first job, to my
Yeah.
second job, to my third job when there's no one else around that can take me and I have no other vehicle. And again, like you said, if there's other things that goes wrong. So I've got 2 staff members and I don't actually have, and this is no hate to my staff because they're amazing. I don't have a staff member who can cover my days off or my sick. So if I haven't been off sick, I've been off once in the 3 years that I've worked.
Yeah.
I don't have a staff member who can cover my sick days.
Yep.
So I can't be sick.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I kind of like you, I guess, in that I don't have anyone to cover me. So if I am sick or if I do need to take time off for something, I don't get paid.
no,
Like, there's nobody there to like cover none of that.
that's the joys of being self-employed, isn't it? And like I will always try and support my staff the best way I can. If they've got to be off, they've got to be off. It is what it is. There's nothing to it. But then when it's the fact is your own business, isn't it? Like unless the one time I was off, I physically could not leave. TMI, but I couldn't leave my bathroom.
Yeah.
I was so ill. That was when the norovirus was going around. I could not leave that house. I had no choice. Thankfully, my staff was able to cover that. But even if I've got a cold, even if I feel sick, I've got to keep going because as a small business owner, you've got to keep going, and people don't seem to remember that. So when you've got people that, and I've had it recently, they'll request every Sunday, and I'm like, I'm either gonna have to charge double on a Sunday to try and put people off, or at least make it worth my time if I'm doing it on a Sunday, or I just blanket say no. Because
I've done that before, kind of similar in that I don't have typical days off. So I don't have like every Saturday and Sunday off because I work weekends. So I'll try and make sure I factored in 2 weekdays in the week where I can at least have a bit of time off. But then if somebody messages you and goes, I'm really sorry, I'm at my wit's end with this dog, it's either you or it goes.
Yeah.
I'm not then going to go, oh yeah, I can see you in 3 weeks. I'm going to go, that kind of like emotion gets to you and you go, right, okay, I'll give up my day off this week.
Yeah.
And I will come and see you. And then you end up like I am currently, where I've got 2 weeks now and I'm not going to have a day off in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And that's the same, like my next predicted day off will be Friday. But again, I've still got my friends' horses. I don't count that as a job because they're my friends' horses. It's easy. It's not hard work. But after that, let's have a look. I got my diary up. I don't have a day off because I've got either dog sitting the weekend after or I've got cats to do. So we're looking at Good Friday is my next day off.
Yes.
Over 3 weeks' time.
I looked
1, 2, 3. No, we're talking for a month.
Yeah.
I've got a month until my next day off. And I think, again, it's something for everyone to consider, whether you're an aspiring dog trainer, pet sitter, dog walker, or whether you're someone who uses these services, to understand that actually we don't always get a day off. We actually do a lot. And to kind of even in that stuff, and like we said about reviews, support us in the way that you can. Like, all right, if you can't afford to come to a session, that's fine. We're not bothered about that.
Yeah.
But like, if you see posts on Facebook for people looking for classes, recommend us.
Yeah.
Literally, the 5 minutes of leaving a review, 30 seconds, whatever it costs, leave us a review. Leave it on Google, leave it on Facebook, or anywhere that we've got it. Listen to our podcast. If you've got an hour where you drive, if you're someone who commutes and you drive an hour away, listen to the podcast. Like, there's always things that you're going to be able to do to help support us. That, right, you can't give us a day off, but support us on all the other little ways that you can. Make sure you read all of our emails that go out. Make sure that you like our Facebook posts, like our Instagram posts, comment on them, share on. Like, while you can't physically help the business in the sense of what we do, we can, but you know what I mean. But do all those little things that it take you 30 seconds to do.
Seconds to do. I mean, admittedly, I do have a lot of clients that listen to this podcast. Neutering came up a lot. They were like, "Oh, we're just listening to your podcast about neutering," and I was like,
yeah.
So yeah, people do listen, and I have some amazing, because they deserve a shout out. I have some amazing regulars who I will never ever get rid of, and I don't want to get rid of them. They're going to be with me for years and years and years because they just love coming to classes and love teaching them, and that's amazing. And they promote me on everything. But again, it takes 30 seconds of just hitting a share button or going, mentioning our name on a Facebook post or something. It makes all of the difference. Or go one step further, because this never happens. People are always really quick to send us a message when things aren't working.
Yeah.
That method you
give us a heads up when it's going right. Send us videos of, and I've got one client who's really good. She comes to the class all the time, and she'll send me a video like, I am gonna say her name. I'm gonna shout her out. So she sent me a video of when Stanley was a puppy and was like, "Oh my god, look at Stanley's recall! Like, that whistle recall really works." And I was like, it makes you feel good. Like, you could be having a really stressy day that something's gone wrong, like it has today, and then you get that one message. Amazing. I had a lady when this is really bad of me again. She turned up to the session and I was like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And actually, the woman really tried in the session, and I got a message back 2 days ago, and she was like, everything you gave me's worked. Like, I can see a massive difference already. And I don't think she'll come to any of the classes, but that in itself was a great little message to receive.
Message is enough. Like you've said, if we've had a terrible day, and maybe we've had one of those classes, because we all have them, where we have classes and everything you had planned for the class didn't work. The dogs don't want to, they're wired. They don't want to know.
Or even stupid bits like when you get a bit like you can't talk. So the amount of times that I'll be in a class and blah blah because I just can't get my words out or I stutter, and it's because we've had a long day.
You feel like you can't explain an exercise properly. Someone asks you a question and you give what you think is a terrible answer. Then you get home and you've got 3 messages from people going, "Oh, today's been rubbish. Today's been rubbish." And like, "Oh my God, I can't do my job." And then just one person sending you a positive message and you go, "Right, that's enough for me to carry on for tomorrow." So a lovely lady at the minute, and she has a little nervous dog, and he's absolutely hilarious. He's got such an attitude on him. He's really sassy. He's hilarious. And he's been going for walks with Sherlock to build his confidence up. And she messaged me the other day that he'd made a friend in daycare for the first time ever, initiated play in daycare. And that message was just enough to like make the day. That was like, all I needed today. That was it. It was brilliant.
And it's one of those things like, this can be like a bite-sized snippet for ending it as such, but like, we have so much crap within the dog training industry, and like I said, it kind of be a snippet into things, but as dog training professionals, we deal with it's not quadrants, but it is quadrants in our sense, but like what kind of dog trainer we are, whether you're force free, whether you're balanced, whether you're adversive or whatever, we deal with that on a daily basis, and whether we suit everyone and if we can like match our training to have someone's beliefs or whatever, we fight that every single day. With social media, you put things on Facebook, on TikTok, on everything, and yeah, right, you're on social media, so it is open to the world, but you fight with people's opinions. It'll be people from across the world who actually you're never going to meet, but they feel like they've got an opinion on it, and we fight that every day. Then you fight the fact, like in Bristol, there within my immediate area, there's so many dog trainers. So not only do I have to try and it is competition, it's not. I'm a firm believer of like working with other trainers. So I don't see myself as competition to others. I want to see myself as allies. So I'll always try and work with other trainers, refer clients to them if I can't deal with it, or if there's a certain like, oh, I want to get into gun dog training. All right, okay, we'll go and meet this lady. I don't do it, but this lady's good as gold. And it's one of Travis, my dog sits under the table and his tail is hitting the thing. But it's one of those like, there's so much we have to deal with within the industry in itself, let alone all of the other crap we have to deal with. It's not easy just being a dog trainer in itself. We've got to do constant learning. It's not just, oh, I've done one body language course and that's it. The techniques are constantly changing. You've got to make sure that all of your qualifications and DBS and insurance and all of that are up to date. Like look at when the XL bully thing came in, we've all then had to make sure that our insurance can cover them.
100%.
Everything changes constantly, and we've just got to make sure that we're able to do it. There's a lot in it, and like I said, it depends, because the dog training industry isn't necessarily the nicest place to go in.
That in itself can be so draining. So
yeah. And for people who are like me, I don't know if you're that kind of way inclined, but I'm a horsey girl. Anyone who knows the horse industry knows it is vile at times. It can be absolutely vile. I'm a horsey girl. I've got horses. Like I have had it for 10, 11 years. I've not got involved in the horsey world. So I have my horse and that's it. Yeah. Like my friends are show jumpers. They have competed for ages. I go and watch them. I don't introduce myself to other people. I don't kind of get involved in it because there's a bitchy world. Mm-hmm. And it would be the same when I come into showing with Bucky. I know it can be a bitchy world, but I'm just going to keep to myself. The dog training industry is the same sort of thing. You're always going to piss someone off with the way that you are.
100%.
What techniques you use, whatever you do, there's always going to be people. Like I guarantee you, there's someone somewhere on my thing who's pissed off that I show Bucky. There's bound to be someone, because his show lead for Crufts is a martingale. So anyone who actually knows, and again, we said this in the last episode, I don't use it how I was meant to. Yeah. But for someone, they're going to be like, well, you're demonstrating use of a adversive item.
It was all over Facebook.
It's going to be everything, isn't it? Like there's always going to be controversy to everything, and I think it's another thing to add to the toll of being a small business owner within this industry.
So I kind of do the same in that there's probably 3 local trainers that I talk to and refer to.
Yeah.
I like them, I like what they do, and that's fine. Otherwise, I keep myself to myself. I don't get any Facebook arguments. If there's someone recommending another trainer that I don't agree with, I scroll past.
Yeah.
I'm past that point now. I'm not going to argue with people.
Yeah. And with me, there's only one dog trainer in Bristol that I don't like. However, it's not that I don't like them, I'm going to say, because I'm not going to make it obvious who it is. It's not that I don't like them for their skills. It's not that I don't like them for whatever reason, for whatever techniques they use, because I don't know what techniques they use. I don't know actually how good they are. Yeah. What I don't like is that when I seeked their knowledge before I became a dog trainer. So when I first got Woody, but when he started becoming reactive, I was looking for help. I did not like their manner. So I was told by this trainer that if I didn't use them, my dog would never be fixed.
Oh, okay.
It was very much bully tactics. It was very much like, well, you need to do it now or nothing's going to ever change. So for me, that was enough. So while I don't ever doubt this trainer's capabilities, because I don't know, I cannot comment on their training. They could be great. I can't say yes or no with that. if anyone ever asks me their opinion on this trainer, I will tell them my experience and say that exact thing. I don't know what they're like as a trainer. However, this is the experience I had with them. And that's that. Like, I'm not gonna pass it over Facebook. I'm not gonna say that they're crap. I'm not gonna outwardly bash my way to do things, which they did on the consult call as well, when they asked me who have I spoke to or who have I looked into, and I said this person, but this, oh, they're shit, don't go to them.
No, I've got one by me, who's very similar. We're on completely opposite ends of the spectrum, so we're never ever going to agree. They're not gonna like me. I'm not really going to like them. But it wasn't even that they were using aversive methods. It wasn't even that. It was the fact that they ignore pain in a dog.
Yeah.
I have had so many clients from this particular person, and the dogs have something wrong with them.
Yeah.
And we've not done any investigations, that we've just gone, this is how we're going to fix it. And that I don't like, regardless of what.
And even if it's the simple question, isn't it, of have you had your dog pain checked? That's all you've got to ask.
That should be, regardless of whether you're balanced, force-free, something in the middle, whatever you are, the dog has to be physically okay first.
Yeah.
And if you're ignoring that and you're just offering a quick fix, that's no good in anyone's book.
And obviously, like we said, like the worst part of the dog training industry is the controversy of things. Unfortunately, with it not being regulated, you are always going to have a mix of opinions. You're always going to have people who think they're right. And I mean, me and you are on fairly the same level when it comes to how we train and stuff, and we're pretty good at agreeing with that. Well, we've had points where we disagree, not necessarily with training, but just like we've said before, like you'd have a pointer and I wouldn't. They're not for me, and I like.
We still talk. We've not fallen out about it. I've not set you up on Facebook. Like, it's good.
I think that's a massive thing, in that like you should still be able to talk to other dog trainers, regardless of whether you're force-free, negative, not negative. You know what I mean? Whether you're balanced, aversive. It's all about discussion.
Trainers.
And
they'd maybe use things I wouldn't use.
And people might take this the wrong way. I've done an e-collar course, but to educate myself on why I don't want to use them.
I think a lot of the arguments that e-collar trainer users use is that you can't slate a tool if you don't understand.
Yeah. And that for me was why it was only like a little PDF presentation that someone did. I wanted to know actually how they're used, why people use them, so that I can make an informed decision. So it's the same, I don't vote, so that's probably going to offend people. I ain't got a clue about politics, so I don't feel like an ill-informed vote is an actual warrantable vote. So I don't do it. Maybe one day I'll feel the need to actually look into it, but right now I don't. So it's the same, I'm not going to put a view on a tool without having the knowledge on how they work.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the point. You can't make a decision, oh, I won't, like, you can, but I still think it's an invalid decision. So if you say, oh, I don't use an e-collar because they're cruel. Right, but why are they cruel?
Yeah.
What in that part of it do you find that is cruel? So if you can tell me, right, the whole reason you don't like them is because dog A can find a stim on level 1, the most petrifying thing in the world, so I don't like them, that's fine. But if all you've gone is, I don't like them because Jim down the road said that his dog got shocked, so you don't like it. Right, but where's any science behind it? Like, other than just the fact that Jim's dog doesn't like it, I want to make informed decisions on things. So while, yes, I say I'm reward-based training, I still want to know all the science on everything else so that I can know why I'm not that way.
Work out where your line is. Yeah, 100%. No, I don't think that's wrong at all.
I think it's the same with anything. And again, if you want to go back to politics, you should be able to have an informed discussion on why you want to vote Labour or Green Party or whatever the fuck there else is. You should be able to have that conversation with someone without it going OTT and out getting riled up on why you feel you are in this party rather than that party. Like,
Yeah.
but there's very few people out there who are willing to do that.
I think as well, when you're talking about dogs, and I get it, it's something that people feel so passionately about, like it's your dog, it's it's something that you feel really strongly about. So people are very willing to jump on and argue.
Yeah.
But that's something against social media.
Yeah.
You should be able to post
People
your
just
business doing
jump on the bandwagon
without
and
worrying that somebody's going to go, oh, well, I would do it this way, or I would do it this way.
yeah. And it was like, I sent you a comment, didn't I, on
Oh,
our
yes, you did.
podcast?
Yes, you did.
And actually, that was a really nice comment because someone had listened to one of our podcasts, and it is a fellow trainer, and they went, I really like your perspective on the debate on controversy and like sitting through and scrolling through TikTok and complaining that someone's used an e-collar is a waste of my time, because the likelihood is that my complaint is just going to get brushed over or someone's going to get pissy about it. Doesn't mean it's going to change someone's opinion. Like, I think that was a really nice kind of, because in that sense, we've taught someone.
Yeah.
We've taught someone that, okay, unless someone's physically like beating their dog, the likelihood is that you're going to waste your time.
People are not going to change their opinion because you've written on their Facebook page or their TikTok or whatever that you shouldn't do it that way.
Yeah.
That's never going to change anything.
No, the only way to make change is through education. So
go and do it. Like, don't sit there and go, I could do this, or you should do it with this way.
Yeah.
Go and do it.
I think you're fully entitled to say, like, I don't agree with this, but you can discuss why you don't agree with it. You can have an educated discussion, and I think you're then more likely to change someone's mind. Like, if I've said this before about the whole like vegan, non-vegan, vegetarian thing, for me, is I'm not very well versed with my food.
Yes.
I don't eat a lot of different foods. I'm not fussy, but I'm not, I don't know what the word is, like I'm not well educated on food, if anything. If I ate more fruit and veg, if I ate more exotic things, I would be a vegetarian.
Yeah.
The modern side of things. However, currently I'd be eating potatoes, cucumber, and sweet corn if I was a vegetarian, which I don't think is enough to sustain a diet.
That wouldn't know. That
So
would be
it would take someone to educate me on making nice vegetarian meals that someone who, like me, could learn and understand to then make me a vegetarian. And it works in the same sort of way. If you've got someone who is right, I'm an aversive trainer and this is why I do it, then you've got someone over here that's force feed it. You can have that discussion in the middle and be like, right, I'm asking you just to try this instead of using the e-collar. Can you try it? See how it works. They're more likely to try it and possibly change their opinion.
In a training scenario. So I've had it, people have come to a class using a piece of, or even a one-to-one, they've turned up to a session with a piece of equipment on their dog that I would not choose to put on a dog.
Yeah.
My personal choice, I wouldn't have it on the dog. Rather than them coming into the session and me going, that's wrong, that's cruel. Yeah. Why on earth have you got that on your dog? You go, why have you got that on your dog? And they go, well, actually, I feel safer with it on.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, let's do the session with that still on your dog.
Yeah.
And by the end of the session, or maybe in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, we'll see if you feel comfortable enough to take it off.
And I've had one client come with her dog and a prong, and I was a little bit shell-shocked when she came in, wasn't expecting it. However, they explained to me, it is a safety thing. This dog is a 50-kilo dog. The mum's 5 foot tall. She has to walk the dog most of the times. It makes her feel safer. And I'm like, right, great. As much as I don't agree with it, it makes you feel safe for the time being. So that's the key. That is the main thing, is that you feel safe walking your dog. But can you try this? Can you try this? And this?
Yeah.
See how you get on and see if those things work for you. And if they work for you, great. At some point we can work on taking that prong off.
I find you're gonna get further with a person when you do it that way.
Yeah. It's all for
So
me,
much
it's
further.
firmly about education. And I think when it comes to your safety, whether it's with your dogs or whether it's us towards clients' dogs or whatever, safety comes first over all morality and anything like that. Because I'm not going to put myself, and like we've had this discussion before, and we can have a chat on another podcast about it. I'm not going to put myself in a position with a client's dog where I'm potentially going to get bitten, but because if I shout at the dog, it might get scared.
Yeah.
It's not morally right.
Yeah.
Whereas if that dog is literally lunging at me and my only possible way to get it to stop might be to shout at it, that's a situation we're going to have to assess on that situation. It's not that I go around shouting at all clients' dogs, all clients' dogs, not every single one of them. It's not something I would outwardly advertise. I say it to all of my new clients. I was like, I'm never going to tell you to shout at your dog.
Yeah.
However, I'm realistic, and that sometimes is going to happen.
You're human at the end of the day.
Exactly. It's one of those things. But I think, like we said, it is the ugly side of dog training and possibly things that people miss. I think a nice way for us to round this off with people, again, just a little summary on everything. Our jobs are hard enough as it is just running a small business. We've got all those tasks to do. We've got admin, we've got social media, we've got our actual jobs of doing the dog walking, pet sitting, dog training, whatever it is that comes with it. We've got our own animals to do. We've got to try and have a social life. We've got to try and have a shower every day. And sometimes if you're working till 10:30 at night, the last thing you want to do is have a shower. I'm glad you feel the same way.
You get home, you pour yourself a glass of wine, you eat the chips you've bought on the way home, and you go to
exactly. And then you've got the ugly side of things in that there is always controversy in the dog training world. It's an ugly place to be. You've always got people judging you. You've always got people disagreeing with you. And then you've got the fact that you don't want to fail your clients. So for those who are listening, if you are a client, we're asking you for one thing today, in that is to support us and keep supporting us. So whether that means you leave a 30-second review, it could literally be a thumbs up, and that's all I give a shit.
It needs to be an essay.
Leave us a review, share our post, like our post, comment on our post. Anything that you can do just to help us. It doesn't even have to cost money. We appreciate all of it. So yeah, as usual, like, share, comment, review, and
yeah,
just any sort of support you can give us, that'd be great. That'll be the end of today's episode. That was a fairly long one for us. So if, as always, like, share, review, post. We'll see you next time.
see you then.
See you later.